very, very happy afternoon, dear children. I am super excited today, and this is your second session, and I know you all are very excited too. I hope you all did what we asked you to do on the session one, and you wrote a few notes on I am a breakthrough star because, and I hope you shared the breakthrough song with a few more people, telling them that you are the next breakthrough star waiting to happen. Today is going to be a phenomenal day because we're going to be dealing with just a simple four-letter word called F-E-A-R. So simple, fear, and yet so not simple, right? I'm sure all of you know what it feels like to be really scared, and I'm sure all of you also know what it feels like to overcome it. Today I'm going to introduce you to the trailblazer who have written, and in the book, he happens to be the first story. Meeting him itself has been an experience for me. And I'm going to, in fact, read out a small part of how I felt when I met Nitin Nyati. So just a little bit, and then I'm going to make you meet him. And he's going to answer a few questions and take you through some phenomenal experiences. The power of breakthrough saw Nitin Nyati become one of the most renowned builders of Pune. Some people bungee jump for the sake of adventure. Others choose deep sea diving. Some go searching for the northern lights. Others go trekking upon Mount Everest. Nitin, he does all of these, but he does something even more adventurous. He lives. Yes, Nitin's life itself has been nothing short of an adventure. And as I closed my eyes, calmed my pumping heart, and nosedived along with him into the exploration of 5 decades of craziness, I found myself dissolved, drenched. When I resurfaced, gasping for breath, I realized everything suddenly looked new, different. The sun seemed brighter, the water bluer, the skies deeper. I invite you, dear students, to go through what I did, a journey that has the power to change life as you know it. And that is Nitin Nyati. A little more about him. Today, he is one of the most renowned builders in Pune, known for completing projects on time, doing some phenomenally creative things. But do you know where he began his life? Literally in a chawl. And he used to, you all would have heard of this, that some students have actually studied under the lamplight. He did that. In a small garden in Pune, he actually used to study there in the cold nights, and that's how he's come up. So today I'm going to make you all meet Nitin Nyati, ask him a few questions, and let's see what we discover today. Very warm welcome, Nitin.
Thank you very much. Happy afternoon to you, Megha, and to all the students.
Thank you so much for being with us. Nitin, I have a few questions for you, and I'm sure just hearing the answers, the students are going to learn a lot. And one thing I really admire in you, Nitin, is being fearlessness. You have this ability to change fear into adventure and do so many wonderful things. So that's how I'm going to ask you some questions, and let's see where it takes our children. So Nitin, tell us a little about your journey from a tiny chawl to a mansion, from a nobody to one of the most renowned builders of Pune. How did it all happen?
Okay. So first of all, let me tell you that this is not only my story. This is a story of many, many people who have achieved things in a life. Because I believe that, when you are starved of a certain things, when you don't have a certain thing, there is a longing to get that. There is a desire to really achieve those things. If you already have that, then maybe value of that is a different. At that time, you have to look at a different higher thing. But yes, now here, since you want to know about me, I'll just tell you, yeah, I did begin my life, my parents being a teacher from a lower middle class family, I would say, and just a one room kitchen kind of a house with about 8 members in the family. And in Maharashtra, in Pune, it is called a Wada culture, which is called as a chawl culture as well, where, you have common toilets between 8, 8, 10, 10 families and things like that. So lots of fun there We all had a great time there, from the point of view that, there are the smallest of the things in a life, how they can give you a pleasure. There it was like, getting the number first in the toilet also, or to get a water was an achievement, because I could get it, kind of a thing. Here now today you open a tap, you always have a water. Okay. But when you don't have a thing, how they add a value and how that longing really makes things exciting is very, very important. So I would say that yes, it all began with a very minimalistic kind of a thing, but culturally it was good because my parents were teachers and there was a good inculcation of a value of a studies, value of a education was there. And yeah, a lot of people surrounding me, as you just mentioned, that even I studied in the garden under a street lamp, and I'm ever thankful to that security person who used to, after 9 o'clock, generally he would come, and because all couples were around, and he will shoo them all off and just allow me to sit under that street light and put that light also on till midnight, till the time I wanted to study. So, you come across a people who are so sympathetic, empathetic about such things, and then you feel so thankful, so grateful about them. And they all have contributed in ensuring that, people, those who want to have, those who desire it, and those who do something to get them, there is a lot of support available, right? From the spiritual support to all the humans being supporting, things like that. So yes, it all started with all, basic minimal things. And then from there, step by step, I could go to the engineering college, where I could learn a lot from a few of other friends of mine who were from a very well-to-do family. So I had a lot to learn from them, other than only education and lifestyle and all, and which all, added to my ambitions. And what happened was that there it was not only a long-term ambition, but it was a very tangible, immediately achievable ambition. And that is where I learned, if you write step by step, then you have that feeling of achievement also, which is immediate, that gratification you get, but at the same time, you wait for a delayed long-term gratification also.
Very
So
true.
things like that. And yeah, step by step, I'm thankful that many people came in my life who supported me in a very many different ways, and which allowed me to just rise up. And today, yeah, fortunately, God is kind and things are great.
Nitin, I know you're being very modest and I'm going a little out of curriculum, but can you tell the students maybe at least about one or two of the phenomenal projects you've done, especially about Corianthan Club and the kind of profile of people who've come there? And just to let them know that a little boy, growing in a chawl system, studying under street lamps, actually has the possibility to rise to that. A little bit on maybe just two projects which are very close to your heart.
Okay. See, I have done civil engineering, and I did civil engineering because this is very important for all of you students specifically. Yeah. What is a calling within you? What is it that gives you that energy, that excitement? That you must be very, very observant about. Okay. And at an early age, more you understand about it, deeper you can go in it. Okay. For me, my example wise, I was to do a mechanical engineering. But when I was going around in a Pune, and when I used to look at a building, then whenever I looked at a really nicely designed bungalow, I thought I could connect more with that. And that is where I realized that my passion or my source of energy or creativity is going to be more in the construction. And then, though civil engineering was not all that preferred over a mechanical engineering, I took civil engineering because I thought if I follow my passion, it's going to be really very energizing me, and I could justify that well. So this is very important for all of you to start observing, because there are so many fields in a life where you can really excel. Okay, so observe what gives you, what is your passion, what is your inner calling, where do you connect the best. Okay, so one part just as advice to all of you.
Absolutely.
And so therefore I took civil engineering in that. And I used to always go to the best of the projects and things like that. And that's how I have grown up, though I did not have resources to become a builder. Okay. But when you have that kind of a strong calling within you, I think the universe just conspires to see that you get everything. Okay, that in the secret also everywhere it says कि whatever you very very strongly think about and you want to have, and when you're ready to give everything for that, automatically you get it. And I think that has become so true for me, because from where I have started, as you mentioned, to even think of a place like a Corinthian, which was, I mean, unless there was some kind of a, external blessings available, it could not have happened. Anyway, so Corinthian was one of my very very passionate first project. Rather, what I did was that I will not go through all the adversities and ups and downs. My Mega, what you have written in the book, that book will maybe explain you everything in the detail. But this specific thing, I can tell you that, after lots of ups and downs and things like that, when we started Nyati Group as a developer company, we constructed a first project itself, which was for all the army officers. And we gave 100 flats to army officers at cost. That is no profit, no loss basis we started with, but we incurred a little loss. But it gave me a tremendous support from all that fraternity, and I could excel very well. That's a one part of it. But then in that area itself, I thought that, many times I saw these mid-sector societies, if they are given facilities like a swimming pool and things like that, which are a high maintenance, but very few people use it. So then maintenance level goes down, and people who are paying, things like they get complicated. So just I thought of a something which could be a useful really, because any real estate asset that you create, it has to be optimized, it has to be used. Okay, it should not be just lying idle, because it's a waste of otherwise capital and maintenance for all the people who are using it. So we thought of a, why not create a club which is a central club to various societies, so that those who want to have such facilities can become a member of a club and use it. That is the first thought from the utility point of view. Then came that my passion, that urge to create something which is a monumental, because I feel that our line is such that we determine a skyline of a city, and
Correct.
city invariably, apart from a God's creation, which is there like a beach or things like that. Apart from that, as a man-made, this is a creation which city recognizes, which is the infrastructure and a building. So we must be responsible for that. So what is the contribution that any developer or a builder can do is to create something which is a monumental, which people would really come experience it. They will come and to see that. Okay. So I thought, why not take up that as a responsibility? And then we started thinking, okay, what will make structure a very monumental structure? Once it is a unique, then it is a monumental. If there are multiple of that, then it loses its charm. So first criteria was, okay, let's make it a really very unique. So then what we thought that, okay, if you go by one particular style, then that can be replicated. So we created our own style, but by combination of a 3-4 different style, which is like a Greek style, Egyptian style, or a Moroccan style. And we merged all of them together and created a new language in architecture, which has fortunately worked out. It was a risk at that time, but
Right.
which worked out very well, and things like that. And we had a beautiful hill slope. So we could create all the 6 level at the ground level, so
Okay.
that at every level there is a ground. So these all things made this structure a very very unique structure, and I am really very very happy to say that Pune really recognizes it. We started thinking that Pune will recognize it, and this area will come to a limelight because of this kind of a structure. But fortunately today, I think, forget only Pune, Bombay people, Delhi people, all over India, I think it's quite popular. And because the structure was like that, then it could attract many many dignitaries there, many celebrities over there. A very very celebrated weddings happened over there. And then, just to name, I mean, you name the industrialist, whether you want to talk about a Ratan Tata or Mukesh Ambani or anybody, all of them have been there multiple times. Or you talk about a celebrity, right from the Amitabh, to Amitabh, so did he stayed there for 5-6 days and had his complete shooting there also. But then many other celebrities, all of them for some reason or other visited the place or stayed there for a few days, and which was really like a acknowledgement of what was done there. Yeah, and they all got attracted because the way place was created. And
Absolutely.
I think this is the biggest, one of the biggest satisfaction that one can get, because only money, having money, okay, you have money, But if you have created with that resource something like that, you have that resource to your credit, but world also enjoys it. And then that fulfillment is a very, very different fulfillment. And specifically, I'm talking about this because all students are here. And they all, I know every student is a very, very ambitious. Everybody wants to achieve something in a life. Everybody wants to be recognized for having done something in a life, right? So for a civil engineer, if I've constructed a couple of such monumental building, that's a accomplishment kind of a thing. So all boys and girls, please remember this, follow your passion. But most important is to understand what is your passion. Because invariably what happens is we get guided by our seniors, which is a perfectly all right. But at the same time, we must know what is coming from inside. You could become even a painter and you can become a top of the gate on the top of the world. You can be simply a photographer. You could be anything. But just understand that, and then that gives a tremendous feel of accomplishment. Yes, Megha.
Just wonderful. And Nitin, as you were speaking, I was reminded of Three Idiots, where Amir Khan says that don't run behind marks or, run behind excellence and passion. And by default, everything else comes running to you. So imagine this little boy who's grown up in that circumstances has now sat and had dinner with Amitabh Bachchan. All the top A-list celebrities come to his resort for their weddings, all because he had the courage to follow his passion. I think there's something amazing to learn. Um, Nitin, fearlessness is a trait that I've always, seen in you, and it's something that I have picked up from your story and highlighted in, the way Breakthrough is written. Now, I want to tell you, can you tell all our dear students that what to you is the meaning of the word fear, and how is it that you overcome it?
Okay. See, let's understand first of all that fear is such a thing that it can deprive you. If you have a fear, it can deprive you of a very, very beautiful things in a life. Okay. Like, let's say, for example, if you have a fear of a water, can you imagine what all things are deprived? Then you cannot swim. You will not be comfortable in any cruise or a boat. You can never think of deep sea diving or something like that and looking at the marine life, which is so beautiful. Okay. Now, there is nothing wrong in that. Hundreds and thousands of people are doing it. But just because it is your inner thing, you have a fear about it, you are deprived of all this. Similarly, if you are deprived, if you have a fear about heights, let's say, then you cannot go to mountains. You cannot be standing on a cliff and enjoying that breeze and those beautiful moments which God has created, only because you have a fear. And now let's understand that that fear could be a very false fear. So whenever, now let's say when you said a fearlessness, that does not mean that just be a stupid and do anything. Okay. So there should be a thought about it, and then you can look at it. So what is a fear? Fear is that something that stops you from doing something because you don't know what is going to be the outcome of it. Uncertainty of outcome is what creates a fear within you. Okay. So there is a scientific way of looking at it. So first of all, let's understand, if you can get over a fear, then there are a lot of things that you can do in the life. There could be a fear. Let's say you said about a Corinthian, let's say, for example, if I had a fear of losing money, these, that, all those things, I could not have made it. Okay. So like that, and it is valid for everything in a life. So the simplest of the thing, a child, after a crawling, he stands up, he falls 10 times, but he still stands up and he walks. And that's why we all are mobile, right? If he had a fear at that time, no, if I stand, I will fall down. So I never want to stand. He will be crawling all his life. Correct? So God himself has created us in a such a way that, okay, anything, that uncertain result is there, you still try, do it again, do it again. One day you will be successful, and that is gone. That's a history for you. Now we don't have to be reminded, how to stand up and how to walk and things like that. And that is valid for the smallest of the thing to a biggest of the thing. Okay. So as I said, that fear is that only that uncertainty of the outcome is what creates a fear. There is a method of looking at it. You can be wise about it. That, okay, if you have a fear about anything, let's say, you can always understand that, okay, how many people having overcome this fear, what are they getting? One is way. Second way is that, but before doing all this, you should ask yourself, okay, do you want to go that? you don't want to be just fearless for anything, because fear has got it's a God created instinct, which is a very important for us to protect us from any damage.
True.
So you should not simply brush it off. Okay. But at the same time, as I have spoken about it, so I won't repeat it again. So, so how do you, so therefore you look at it this way that, okay, if I do this, what are outcomes? There are only, as Mahatri has also always explained us, that there are only 4 types of outcomes. One is that more than what you expected, same as what you expected, less than what you expected, or a reverse of what you expected. Okay. Once these 4 outcomes, you know that these are the 4 outcomes possibilities there. Mentally, if you are ready to accept any of them, and then have your next step. Okay, because ultimately you have to reach to that goal. While reaching there, there could be obstacles. You have to get over those obstacles and keep going there. And that is when you will be like achiever, right? In a life. So therefore now that uncertainty is what is the obstacle there, and which is causing you fear, because you don't know if it goes against that, then what do I do? But if you are mentally ready, okay, if it goes against, what is the worst thing that will happen? Okay. And if you are ready to accept that worst thing, then this fear factor is out. And more than uh, that one has thought of, if this fear factor is out, there is a possibility of a success is very, very high. If you do anything with a fear factor, because you are doing in any case half-heartedly, because you are not 100% giving yourself, there is a possibility of other results, which is like less than what you expected or opposite. But if you do it wholeheartedly with a full devotion, without any fear, you will get the first, which is much more than what is expected. So that's the importance of a fear. And now I think this can be applied anywhere, anywhere in life. And I think it opens up so many doors for you in life. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Nitin, I love the way you spoke about the 4 outcomes. And, to keep it in perspective for students, suppose someone has a fear of, public speaking. Only 4 things can happen. Either they'll get a standing ovation, which is they'll get more than they expected. Or
Correct.
people will be happy ovation. What they expected, they got. People didn't respond so well, a little less than expected. Okay, people really insulted them and said, you were not good at all. But the minute the child tells himself that when I go on stage, only these 4 are possible, beyond that, nothing else can happen, then they themselves are going to give their best and they're going to open up the opportunity to do so much more. And
Correct. Correct.
children, I want you to apply this in any situation, like be it your exams, be it talking to someone else, being anything. You can just see that these are the only 4 ways you can go.
Correct. And other 2 ways, first 2 are really a motivation. That is more than and equivalent to what you get. But other 2 are really learning steps. Because when you go back, if something is less than result as you get, if it is the less than what you expected or opposite of what you expected, as you said, people did not appreciate you at all or things like that, then you go back and introspect. Why did it happen? Was I somewhere lacking in my preparation? Okay. Or was the method wrong? And that allows you to improve yourself tremendously. And with that improvement, next time you again do it, there is every possibility, and you yourself will come back with such a high self-esteem that, okay, something went wrong with me. I tried it again, but now look at it where I am. I could achieve it. And what the attitude that it is going to develop, that attitude is the biggest asset that one could have in a life. And therefore, fearlessness is also attitude.
Absolutely.
And attitude is developed over a period of a time by every action of your result of your response. And then that attitude slowly becomes your DNA. Then you don't have to work for it. Then it simply goes up and up. Yeah. So
in fact, students, I'm so excited for you that today you're not learning English, Hindi, physics, math. You're learning an attitude of fearlessness, which is actually going to affect everything about your life. And blessed are you to be here, to be learning this from someone who's actually overcome fear at so many various stages of his life. Nitin, can you share a beautiful incident from your life where fear gripped you, but you overcame it? And how was the experience when you did conquer it?
okay. So okay, I'll tell you my one of the, there are many like that, of course. But one which was the beginning of my philosophy is what I will tell you. That we as a family, four of us, me, my wife Sulekha, and my two children, Piyush and Pranav, we had gone to Australia to celebrate 10th of a Piyush and things like that. So there, we did various rides. There is a dreamland. So in a dreamland, you have a various rides, whether it's a roller coaster or things like that. There was a one ride which was a free fall kind, and which was just about a 3 or 4 seconds of a free fall. When we sat, we all are adventurous people in otherwise also. So we all sat there, we loved it. And when that free fall happened, the kind of a butterflies that I had in a stomach, and all of us, I thought then, it was a much more than a faster than the gravity speed. Okay, so therefore all that happened. And when we did that, we landed. It was just a 3 seconds. When we landed, we came out. Legs were still trembling and things like that. I thought, what is this here? We know that we are sitting, we are very, very safe in this, things like that. Just a 3 seconds of this, and what kind of a fear it has been. Well, and my question was, how do I overcome this? And when I thought of it, just a theory of a relativity came up. I thought if I do something much bigger than this, then this will become very small. There is a game that we always play, like you draw one small line and just make this a smaller without touching this line. How do you do that? You draw a bigger line just adjoining it, and this becomes a smaller. Okay, so similarly like that. So I thought, okay, why not do something which is a far beyond it, so that all these small things simply they don't create any fear in you. And as I said in the beginning, that you have some desire, you think of it very, very strongly, and door will automatically open up. That's a God's design. Okay. And I was just walking in a mall and I saw one advertisement in which I could see that people were jumping off the flight. And it's called a skydive. That was the first time. This I am talking about a 15, 20 years back. Now today many people have done it. But at that time it was a very, very rare thing. 15, 20 years back. Okay. So I just thought, okay, this is my answer. And I just went and enrolled myself. And I enrolled myself, I paid money. And when I came back to the hotel, and I came back with all the brochure and everything and the experience sharing and all. And then when I was reading all that experience, I realized that what am I doing? Because now this 3 second, that experience was live, could create so much butterfly and that thing with me. And this was and that was only about a 400 feet or something. Now this is going to be from a 12,000 feet and 30 seconds of a free fall in open sky, nothing buckled up or nothing like that. Now, what am I signing for really? And then when I was reading the experience and how people were experiencing it, it all started giving a different level of a butterflies in my stomach. I sometimes thought that, have I done something wrong? It was pulling me back. Should I back out? Or things like that. But then I said, no, let's go ahead. To the extent I must tell you, Megha, that I had a loose motion that whole night. My family, they didn't know what I'm going through. So they were all laughing at me. Okay, go jump. You have a masti, do it. Okay. But I was determined. So many times I thought, should I do? Should I not do? Should I do? Should I not do? But then something, that inner thing was saying, no. Theory is very clear. You want to do something higher. That is very safe. No accidents have taken place. It's matter of only going through that moment for a 30 seconds. Let's go through it. Okay. And I was determined. I slept. Morning, we all went to the place. And it was Australian. So you know how things are there. And they said, okay, come on, enroll, couple of papers signing and all. And then he just looked at my wife, Sulekha. She was there only in a shorts and sleeveless because she had just come to see me off. Okay, there. He said, oh, young lady, why don't you also do it? Come on, sign it. And in a hurriedly, without knowing, she signed up also. She didn't know what she's going to do. Same thing happened with my son also. Younger could not do because he was small that way. So we all three started. We went, we sat in the flight, okay? And that flight is a very typical, no seats as such. It's a flight and wherein you have to sit down on the floor with your legs open so that the next person sits in between the next person, because there is a paucity of a place like that, okay? And I was the first one there with my tandem. Of course, it was a guide behind me, okay? And as he started flight, it was taking off a runway and I saw that there was no door. And I told my, tandem, that my jumper, I told him, boss, you forgot to close, I think, door. And then he just laughed, these flights don't have a door. Okay, I said. And it started rattling, absolutely. And I knew what I'm going to face. And more fear started coming in. Okay. And as it went up to a certain level, I asked him, have we reached? He just showed me altitude in front of me. We have to go to 12,000 feet. It is just about 1,500 feet. Okay, so we had to go almost 10 times. And my God, so all this experience, and that created a further anxiety. I thought, my God, if 1,500 feet is so much, 12,000 is how much? Anyway, so it went on happening. Finally, we reached 12,000 feet. And this guy, he just nudged me. He said, okay, come on, boy, we have to jump. Oh, I was so scared actually. I thought, because I could not even see down, nothing was there. Okay, I just went to the door. I just, slide myself to the door, and he said, okay, jump. And I just closed my eyes and I jumped. I jumped out, and in a couple of seconds, I just opened my eyes, and there was a tremendous, so much excitement because I was flying. I was just flying, and there was so much of a wind blow. I started shouting, ah! And all the wind went in my mouth, and I was just blocked completely. Then I had to shout with my lips closed after that. Okay, but that experience of 30 seconds of a flying, all mountains, beautiful meadows below, it was, how birds feel. How could I have ever enjoyed that? That happened, and then up to about 4,000, then the parachute opened, then very slowly gliding all over, we landed there. And I tell you, after I landed, I just told myself that, just imagine, Nitin, that if you had succumbed to your fear of a previous night or in the morning, what you would have lost in a life.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and that really made my complete philosophy of how to become fearless, but very, very consciously, in a studied way. I'm not saying just go and do any stupid thing, but if you are fearless in this fashion, then of my life came up, and which says like this, that when was the last you did something for a first time? Okay. So every time you look for doing something which you have not done in a life, it could be a smallest of the thing. It could be a simply cooking. It could be anything. Okay. But anything that you do first time creates so much of excitement. And therefore keep looking forward to that. Okay. So sentence goes like this again. When was the last you did something for a first time? Get out of your zone of comfort. Okay. Because if you sit in your zone of comfort, you will keep experiencing same things. You will not experience new things. Okay. So you have to get out of your zone of comfort. And to get out of your zone of comfort, there could be some fear, which you have to get over. So therefore, when was the last you did something for a first time? Get out of your zone of comfort, explore, and you will realize life is beautiful.
Wow.
And there is a more to it. Never stop. You feel, okay, skydive is not over. There is much more to it. Till end of your life, you can keep experiencing new things. And then life becomes so interesting. And there is nothing called boredom in a life then. Because every time you're doing a new thing, you have something to share. So you have something to talk about. And I think experience is a something which can always be with you forever in your life. Everything else can come and go.
Nitin, I want all of us together with the students to repeat your life mantra. I would love it if students, they anyway have their notebooks with them. Why not we write it together? And let's say it with a lot of conviction, and let's see if we can really internalize this. So Nitin, you say it and we'll say it after you.
Okay. When was the last you did something for a first time?
So let's repeat this. When was the last that you did something for the first time?
Get out of your zone of comfort.
Get out of your zone of comfort.
Explore.
Explore.
You will realize life is beautiful.
You will realize life is beautiful.
And there is more to it.
And there is more to it. Dot, dot, dot.
Dot, dot, dot.
It's so wonderful,
So nice.
Nitin, to have you here to learn so much about fearlessness. In fact, for all the dear students, if you all have comments, if you all have questions, if you all have things to say to Nitin, please type it in the comment box and we'll ensure that he sees them. And finally, to just conclude, I would just want to say that yes, that dot, dot, dot is where the entire life is waiting for all of us. You will be sent a beautiful worksheet on fearlessness. Your breakthrough ambassador will send it to you. So let's together once more just thank Nitin. And I want the parting sentence to again be that mantra from him. You know, repetition is the mother of learning. Each time I'm hearing it, I'm emphasizing on something else. So Nitin, last parting words from you and then we'll call it a day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You want me to say that mantra again,
Yes.
or what is it?
Once more for the last time.
Okay, okay, yeah. And I think that's something really, really very great. I would say that, and that first sentence, itself, if you ask every day, smallest of the thing, if you have not taken a bus ride for a very, very long time, that bus ride itself in the city can introduce you to so many people. You can see cultural, how things are, how poor people behave, or how everything. It could be just going to a five-star hotel, or it could be anything. Life has to offer so much. And that is why I just to put it in a perspective, that's why I'm saying it could be a trekking, it could be there are so many destinations in a world, or it could be just the expression of a love to somebody. If you think that, for a long you have not complimented somebody, or for a long you have not really appreciated somebody, it will come to your mind. You appreciate and see the difference. You will be energized.
True.
Okay. So therefore you should do it. And unlimited choice is available. Yes, as you said that, I'll just repeat it once again. Okay. When was the last you did something for a first time? Get out of your zone of comfort. Explore, and you will realize life is beautiful and there is more to it.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. And
Thank you so much, Megha. That, I must appreciate that you always get the best out of me. Many times I learn about myself through your questions. And I am sure that all students will benefit out of this, that what you activity that you are doing for their benefit. And I believe that attitude is everything. Now, this learning attitude out of others' experiences itself is going to make a big difference to all the students. And they all must be really thankful to you that you are ensuring that through so many lives, they are getting a lot of exposure and straight learning in that. So thank you very much. All the best to all the students. Okay. Bye-bye.